Welcome to another episode of Mental Wellness Insights. Today we continue with our series on marriage, and we are delving on the issue of self-discovery before marriage. With me is Pastor Susan. Welcome to this episode, and thank you for always being with us. We will go straight on what is self-discovery and why is it important to discover yourself before marriage.
Thank you very much. As you've heard, I'm Pastor Susan Nganga. I love the Lord and born again. I am a family person. I'm married to one male gender, one man, and I have children and I have grandchildren, and it's all glory to God. And today, as you've heard, we want to talk about one aspect about the marriage, should I call it fraternity, the marriage docket. And it's about self-discovery. Now, self-discovery is something that we all do. We all like at some point in time in life to discover who we are. And we want to discover about ourselves because of different aspects in life. But now we want to talk about self-discovery when it comes to marriage. Because before we get into this marriage, which is a covenant, and I want to believe that everybody that is getting into marriage understands that marriage is not just marriage. Marriage is not just love, love. Marriage is a covenant. And this covenant is ordained by God Himself. So we want to understand, before we get into marriage, how well have we discovered who we are? How well have we discovered our strengths, our weaknesses? How well have we discovered what it is that we want to achieve when we are getting into this marriage business? The fundamentals of getting into marriage, do we understand them? Do we get to know how strong we are mentally, socially, physically, spiritually? How well are we prepared to get into marriage because before we actually say, I want to get married, we must, first of all, do a self-discovery. Realize the person within you. Are they able to stand the storms? Are they able to stand the challenges that come with marriage? Are they able to understand the goals and the focus and the virtues that come along with the marriage docket? How well are we prepared? And how well are we prepared mentally, psychologically, physically? Because when we are talking about marriage, the Bible says that a husband, a man, will leave his parents and cleave to the wife. So the wife and the man must begin to understand, if they want to come together, man and woman, for the basis of marriage, there is something they have to leave behind. They have to leave family behind. They have to leave some lifestyles behind. They have to leave some things that are not in the marriage bracket. They have to leave them behind. How well prepared are we to understand? Let me put it this way. How well matured are we? The maturity level of self-discovery in us. Does it allow us to get into marriage knowing that I am not getting into a bed of roses, but I am getting in an institution that, number one, is a covenant. There are no two ways about it. It is a covenant. That is how God sees it. But man doesn't see it as a covenant. But God sees it as a covenant. And again, how well are we prepared, or how well are we matured for the storms that come with marriage? Because marriage is not just a bed of roses, as I said. It has its own challenges. And the challenges are brought about by various aspects of lifestyles, of family issues, and so many other things that contribute into the marriage that we want to get in.
So in other words, we are saying before you get into the institution of marriage, you got to know exactly the intricacies involved in the marriage institution, and get to know yourself, to be sure that you are able to meet those challenges that are contained in a marriage situation.
Yes. Now, when we talk about self-discovery before marriage, we should understand that it's a crucial process that is about laying foundations for a healthy, fulfilling, and long-lasting relationship. And again, it also involves a very profound sense in that you must begin to understand your values, your goals, your emotional needs and personal boundaries before committing yourself to a very long-term partnership. And as I say, we would want to say in the layman's language that marriage is partnership. And I said God does not see it as partnership. He sees it as a covenant between two people who have come into an agreement to do God's will. But as we know it, we think it is a partnership whereby we bring our issues on the table, we bring our differences on the table, we bring our common likes or dislikes on the table, and that way we want to call it marriage by going along with it and attaining what we want to attain, be it children, be it career, be it family issues, whatever it is. But let's begin by knowing that it is a very profound thing that involves emotions, it involves feelings, it involves personal boundaries, and it is also detailed in its own exploring factors. It is so detailed because there are factors that contribute to self-discovering. Now, when we want to talk about self-discovering, number one, we should know why self-discovering is very essential before marriage. It is number one, we have clarity in expectations. What are we expecting as we want to get into this marriage, the two of us? What are the expectations that we want to get into? Knowing yourselves actually help you to articulate what you want in this relationship, the need of this relationship, which in other ways it reduces the misunderstandings in this relationship. Getting to know the clarity of expectations that you want from this relationship, you will find that along the line it will reduce a lot of misunderstandings and even unmet expectations, in the sense that it reduces conflict in the marriage. The moment you begin to understand the expectations, the clarity, you must be able to clarify, what is it that I want in this marriage, in this union? What is it that I want? Clarify, come about the two of you and get to understand the clarifications of your expectations in this marriage. But without doing that, you cannot have a clear cut.
So before you get married, you've got to ask yourself several questions. Why am I getting into this? What is what is driving me into this? What do I expect from this? Yeah.
Because you see, as I said, there's also the emotional part of it that is involved. There's the personal fulfillment part of it. Then there's the alignment also of the values that you want to have in this relationship. We have also the healthy boundaries, and all this attributes to the clarity of expectations that you want. Because you cannot just wake up and decide, I want to marry this man because I've fallen in love with him. You also have to understand your self-awareness, which fosters emotional intelligence, enabling you to be able to, jungle about and handle about the issues that come along with marriage. Because without doing that, then you will have very many issues when you want to balance in, happiness on the other, on your partner, what do I say? Try to, balance things and put them on a weighing scale that everybody feels comfortable with one another. You must be able to consider all these issues, health issues, aligning your values together, understanding even the core values, whereby beliefs, which helps to choose a partner, not just because you found somebody that is worth marrying. There's a lot of things that you need to consider. It is not the beauty that is called marriage. Marriage is very fundamental. It is not just the looks. Marriage is more than the looks. And as I said, marriage is a covenant. So this is something that you live with. It is not something that you just hop in and hop out. It is something that when you're hopping in, you must be able to understand, why am I getting into it? And even when a time comes and you want to hop out, you must be able to understand the consequences of you wanting to hop out, because it comes with consequences. So again, number 2, we also have values and beliefs. We come from different backgrounds. We have brought up differently. We are wired differently. We have different exposures. We've gone through different situations. So when we talk about values and beliefs in marriage, it also reflects on what matters most to you as family, career, spirituality, and even personal growth. Are these compatible with your partner? You should also ask yourself these things. Whatever it is that I want from me and from my partner, whatever I want him to give and whatever I want to give out, are we compatible? In between, can we strike a common or a neutral ground? So you find that we also have emotional patterns. You find that some people have come from single parent background. Others have had both parents. For instance, you'll find somebody, maybe it's a lady or the guy, they're coming from a single parent. The other partner comes from, both parents. So the kind of experiences these people have gone through are different. The kind of storms they have gone through are different. And so you must be able to understand emotional patterns which identify your emotional triggers. When something happens, how able are you, how well equipped are you to handle that which is triggering, maybe anger, maybe sadness or depression in your life as it comes along with marriage, as we call them, challenges. But you must be able again to know how to cope. You must have coping mechanisms. How ready are you, equipped to cope with things that come as unaware, you are not aware of, or like things that just come about. Maybe it is character issues, maybe it is friends or family, or maybe it is career issues. How well equipped are you to cope with such situations? So you must also have the coping mechanisms when we are talking about self-discovery, how to strategize yourself before you get into marriage, because you must have a platform. You cannot just wake up and say, I want to get married, without putting all these things into account, wanting to know what life goals do you want to attain. When you want to get married to this person, consider your aspirations for the future, not just for that time that you want to have it all rosy, because the rosy time fades. The rosy time comes and goes, and then you are left with the reality. How well are you, equipped to cope, and how well are you strategized with your life goals to career, travel, children, and lifestyle and all that? Are they synchronized with your partner's vision? That one you should always ask yourself. Are my strategies synchronized? Are my lifestyles issues synchronized with my partner? You must be able to, to bond and become one, because marriage is oneness. Marriage is never a two thing. Marriage is a one thing. So you must be able to synchronize your lifestyle, mentality, spirituality, emotionally, everything. Talk about it. You must be able to synchronize with your partner. And if there's a breakdown, if there's a disconnect, that means this marriage will not be able to work. It will start having issues. So we must be able to understand now the strengths and the weaknesses that contribute, acknowledging your strength, and in areas where you need assessment, you must be able to understand how to go about this assessment. How well do you assess what you think is not right for the marriage or is right for the marriage? You should be able to assess the values, the attributes that you want to have in this marriage. You should be able to have the issues of humility and work together, grow together as a team. Because you cannot tell me you're getting into marriage to work independently. It doesn't work. You must come together. It is no longer me, it is us. It is no longer I, it is we. So you must be able to understand how to cope with the we and us, versus the I and me. You must be able to understand, because when you don't have the strengths and to work as a team, then that means you'll start having leakages in this marriage. And some of these things is what is actually causing infidelity in marriages. It is what is causing misunderstandings in marriages. And as I always say that when people are coming together, they are not coming together to hate one another. They are coming together to love one another, to build something out of love. But you find that with time, that could not be the case. Because number one, the issue of realizing who you are and studying your patterns, studying yourself, and your self-discovery issues were not laid on the table before you said yes I do. Because these are things that you must consider. And I don't believe you can do these things on your own. You need God. You need God to actually bring them out so that you can begin to understand, point 1 is this, point 2 is this, point 3, I must work on these things before I say yes I do. And
I believe also the fact that when you're getting married, you're not just getting married, you're getting married to your partner, yes, but there are other people involved. There are in-laws involved. You must know yourself first before you can handle the issues that will arise in relation to the other people that are around your marriage. If you do not know yourself, maybe at one point or another you will not know. You will get lost into other characters that are not yours.
Now, that is where I would say love and the language of love comes in. That is where now the language of love comes in. Because love has a language. It is not just love. Love has a language on its own. And when you want to involve now the family members, now we are moving from the two of us and getting to the in-laws, getting to the parents, and things like that. That is where you must practice the love language. And you must understand how to give love and how to receive love. Because love is a two-way thing. It is unison. But when it comes to giving love, you must allow love to run on the two parts, receiving and giving. I cannot just be giving love and I'm not receiving anything from you. I cannot come into a relationship and allow myself to love your family, love your extended family, and your family does not give back the love. The extended family does not give back the love. This is where we find those cracks in marriages, and they begin to bring about leakages. And these leakages sometimes come in as unnoticed until they have caused havoc. That is when we begin to realize that there were cracks right from the word go, which we assumed and we did not take charge of. And so we must allow ourselves to know the love language. When you are getting into a relationship for a long time, learn to know the love language, because the love language speaks. The love language brings itself out in actions, in deeds, not just by the word of mouth, but even in actions. It shows itself, the love has a language. So it shows itself out by deeds, by character, how we handle each other, how I handle your people, how you handle my people. That is love talking. It is expressing itself. But love, you cannot touch love. You can't touch love. Love is felt. Love is something that you feel. And that is why it involves emotions. Love is spiritual. It is not something tangible. It involves feelings. What you feel in your heart is what you give out. And the other thing I would like to say is that when we are talking about love, it talks about stronger communications. It is so strong knowing yourself and allowing yourself to express your needs to the other person, and also feeling clear about the issues that you want in life, which fosters the easiness of this marriage. It actually fosters the easiness of open dialogue, because at some point when I cannot be able to love you well, I don't think I can also be able to love your people well. It starts with us. So if I can be able to love you well, we can have an open dialogue that brings everything to the table. Then there's that understanding that comes that I need to do this, and we need to do this. We need to start from point A and walk to point B, and have the coping, systems put into place so that we can be able to understand where we are going to. And this also again brings mutual growth. And when we have mutual growth, by understanding ourselves, that I am supposed to, handle this way, and you're supposed to handle it. And this also happens by, dialogue. When we dialogue, when we communicate effectively, as I said from right, in the beginning, I said that marriage is something that you purpose. It is purposeful. It is something that you purpose in your life. And I believe everybody at some stage, they will always purpose that they want to, meet a man or meet a woman that they will call their spouse or their husband or their wife. And it's unfortunate that at some margin, it is losing its meaning. Marriage is actually losing its meaning, because number one, it's not being done in the right way. It's not actually starting on the right footing, the right foundation, how it should start as per the word of God. And so when we are talking about self-realization, we also need to bring about the aspect of resilience. How well can I cope? How well can you be resilient in issues that come to, test your strength within the marriage bracket? How well are you resilient to outside forces? How well are you resilient to bad character, maybe friends that can influence your partner negatively towards your marriage?
Or influence yourself towards the marriage. Because if I don't know myself, I would easily give in to advices from friends and destroy my marriage.
Oh, yes.
So I've got to know myself, and I know what I want in my marriage.
Exactly.
So that I resist anything that comes counter to what I want.
So you must be able to know the things that actually help you. Because in life we have ups and downs. So you must be able to know how well you're equipped for resilience when you're faced with challenges in marriage. Because I do not want to say that the issues of marriage are common. They are common to your marriage. Maybe they are not common to somebody else's marriage. They are just common to your marriage. So we all have marriages in a different, they all come up in different forms, different spheres. So the challenges are different, and the responses are also different, and how we articulate to solve issues in these situations is also different. because again, it depends with the force, the driving force that you have put as a coping system. Because sometimes you could be having clergy, others have elders, others have parents, others have very close friends, others have just friends, and it depends on who you go to, on who you stand with. That is why you find that in marriage we have a best man and a best lady. Why do we have these people? As much as they are witnesses, there's an aspect in them that should help us grow, should help us move and cope with situations that come along with this institution. But you'll find that nowadays we even go about getting people of our own age who have no marital experience. They have no marital experience whatsoever. But just because they are very good friends, we are close friends, either at the place of work or in the neighborhood or in the family, and we want them to walk with us this journey. And they know nothing about marriage. I don't think we are qualified to say that these are the right kind of people, because when the marriage hits the bedrock, then you have a problem. You'll find that you'll not get adequate advice from these people. But once you want to do this self-realization, don't again do it on your own. Sometimes go for help with people who have had experience, long-term experience in marriage, people who know the word of God and who stand for the truth, who can tell you that this is the way you should go and this is what you should do. Because as I said, marriage is an act from God. It is not man-made. It is godly. It is God who ordained it. And if something is ordained by God, then the only solutions to anything ordained by God is God himself. Any solution that is required for any godly foundation, it is God himself, because he built the foundation. He is the one who built marriage. He's the one who came about with marriage. The whole idea was God. It was God's idea to bring about marriage. So when we are having issues with marriage, we must go back to the author of marriage. We must go back. When I want to realize, when I want to do self-discovery on myself concerning marriage, I want to get married. Number one, I should go back to the creator of marriage. I know we have counselors around. We have people we can run to in the church, the clergy, and so forth. But let us go back to the author of marriage and ask for assistance, ask for advice, ask for the way to go. How well do I go about it? I just don't hop into marriage, because this was not man-made. So number one, where we go wrong is that we don't know how to go about marriage most of the times, because we have forgotten the creator of marriage, the founder of marriage, who is God himself. And he has the menu. He has the menu to all the problems we have in marriage. He has the menu. He has the answers. So it is us to go to him and ask God, I want to get married. Yes, I want to do a self-discovery, emotionally, physically, financially, all these things. It draws back to God himself. Because the moment we miss God, we miss everything. When we miss God, we miss everything. You cannot preach the truth and not reflect the truth. You must preach what you reflect. If you want to preach marriage, if you want to walk in marriage, you must reflect the founder of marriage in your marriage. You must be able to bring God into the scene of this marriage, because there is no way marriage works without God. That is period. There is no way. We will have all the education, the knowledge, the wisdom, but let us remember, it is only God who makes marriages work. He starts with marriage and finishes with marriage. He is the beginner and the end of everything that is called marriage. So when we are doing self-discovery, it is good that everything that we want to bring close to us in terms of marriage, like boundaries, extended families or whatever, friends, career, everything, finances, we must always zero it in to God. we must understand that when a marriage is failing, it is not God who has failed. It is not God who has failed to take care of that marriage. It is not God who has failed to take care of me or that person. It is us who have failed to understand the very fundamentals of God in that marriage. So we must be able to realize that self-discovery is not a one-time event. It is something that goes on. Even as you get into marriage, you realize your partner. You get to understand him more than you understood him before when you were courting. So you must be able to be willing, to be honest, to be, or to be transparent and to be caring. And it is a give-take thing. You must be willing to give. Marriage is about giving. Marriage is about giving.
My take as you go on, what I am getting to realize is that before you get married, you are getting married to somebody you assume you do not know. If you go to marriage without knowing yourself, then you are joining yourself, you do not know yourself, you're joining with somebody you do not know, so you start off as like you don't know anything.
I would call that a combo of problems.
Yeah.
That is a combo of problems, because when you want to join your life to somebody that you know nothing about,
you have to know yourself first.
Definitely.
And then know that person first.
Yes.
Before you
actually decide, yes, I do.
Yeah.
You must get that period of courtship. That is where we have self-realization. That is where you begin to understand your spouse, even before you get to live under that same roof.
So before you even go to courtship, you go to courtship knowing yourself.
Knowing yourself first.
Knowing what you want, knowing your values, knowing your limits, knowing beyond this limit I cannot go.
Oh yes. And that is, I think, so important, because most people have misplaced ideologies, misplaced values, misplaced paths, because they believe, because they have seen a marriage somewhere, they have attended a marriage somewhere, a wedding ceremony somewhere, and it looked so beautiful and so rosy, and so somebody is there saying, I wish I can get married this way. The digital space has given us all the rubbish. It shows you how you can use millions to do a marriage, and after 2-3 months the marriage is dead. You see, because you didn't realize marriage is very personal, and that is why it is a covenant. Marriage is personal. Marriage is not a two thing. You cannot share marriage. That's why you can never share a spouse. Marriage is very personal. And God, the way God designed marriage was for himself and to himself. Marriage was for himself and to himself. And that is why the Bible says that he hates divorce. And that is why, again, God says, when we wrong each other, it is in the book of Luke, it is in the book of Matthew, it is in the book of Mark, talking about forgiveness. When Jesus was even talking about a guy who could not even forgive the servant. You see, forgiveness in marriage is one of the greatest fundamentals that have actually not been looked into with a deeper sense that has actually caused so many marriages to break.
Yeah, and because forgiveness is so key, so important in a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we are having a different episode on just forgiveness in marriage.
Yes.
Yeah, and therefore, when we are getting married, before you get married, what we are learning is you must know yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Then you must put yourself, that knowledge of yourself, lay it on the table for your partner to also know you. And this is vice versa.
Yes.
So that when you get into this covenant, everything is on the table. He knows you, he knows your values. You know him and you know his values. You know beyond him to his relatives. He knows beyond you to your relatives. Then you discuss all the issues that arise before you decide, I am getting into this.
And I want to say this as we end this session. When you are doing the self-discovery path, you should actually come to self-counseling. What do I mean by self-counseling? You must be able to forgive yourself first. Be able to heal first. Because I believe before you get the right man, you have come across very many frogs. We say that. But in that process, we could have been hurt by friendships. We could have not forgiven the people that hurt us. And we could be carrying baggage that is not even necessary to work with. And so we should be able to forgive ourselves first. Even as we are doing the self-discovery period, we should be able to forgive the people who have wronged us. The friendships that hurt us.
Meaning in the self-discovery period, we've got to discover the baggages that we are having that we could carry into the marriage if we do not deal with it.
Exactly.
So once you discover the baggage, then forgive yourself if it need be.
And let
forgive the other person if need be.
It is very important.
So that you go into this marriage.
Yes. With a very clear conscience that you are not carrying any baggage.
Yes.
Leave everything behind you. Because the moment you carry this baggage, I can assure you it will affect this marriage. When you are carrying this baggage into a relationship, you are carrying a baggage, maybe there are 3-4 people that hurt you, and you are carrying all this baggage on you, and you want to enter, maybe, like Jesus told the Samaritan woman when he was at the well, that I know this is not your first husband. You have had various husbands. And it is the same thing when we are getting into relationships. It does not mean that this is when you're getting married, that was the first relationship. To others, it's the first. But some, it's not the first. So allow yourself to heal first. Allow yourself to heal. Allow yourself to put down the baggage. Allow yourself to move forward when you're, and you're free.
Forget into this one as if it's the first one.
Oh yes, it's the first one. It is new. You have no pain. You have no baggage to carry. There are no soul ties.
That's very important.
There are no soul ties. So cut the soul ties before you get into a very serious long-term relationship. Make sure you cut those soul ties because they will come back to haunt you.
Yeah, you are speaking about soul ties, and I believe one of these days we'll talk about soul ties.
Yes.
Because it's also another very wide area. Yes. Anything else that you think we should mention before we close this?
What I will always advise when we are getting to marriage, because it is a covenant, and the author of this covenant is God Himself. We should always go back to the drawing board when we are doing the self-discovery. And even as we plan to get into this marriage, we should always go back to the drawing board, and the drawing board is God Himself. He has the answers to every problem, every challenge, every bit of it. He has the answers to what we cannot stand up to. He can stand up to anything. He can stand up to any challenge that can come across that may project itself towards the process. So we must go back to the drawing board, because God Himself is the one who started marriage, and He believes and He knows that we don't understand anything until we go back to Him, until we get His advice, until we cry unto Him and tell Him that we want to engage in this. So be there, be at the front. Because if we do not allow God to lead us in issues where it is a covenant, then we cannot keep up the covenant.
Thank you, Pastor Susan, for this articulation. Thank you for joining us in this session of Mental Wellness Insights. We have learned that it's very important for you to realize, to know yourself before getting into the covenant of marriage. so that when you get in as you know who you are, you know your values, you know what you're looking for, and then you will know the other partner. But most of all, we have been told that it's only your creator who knows you best. So if you want to know yourself, go back to your creator to get to let you know who you are. Thank you for joining us today. We believe that you have subscribed. If you have not subscribed, please do so. Click on the notification bell. Share so that many other people can be able to get this knowledge. Till next time, bye-bye.